Loading. And we are live.
And we are live just like this. What is it right now? It's Wednesday morning, right, Anthony?
Yeah.
Wednesday morning, halfway through the week, everybody. And we are very excited to be live here with you today on the Patrick Carr Show. If it's your first time joining us, it'll be me right here in front of the camera. Behind the camera is producer Anthony.
Hello, everyone.
Putting everything together, making sure that you get a great picture, we get great sound, we get all that short form content out to you that y'all love to see. Check us out over on Instagram, Meta, wherever you consume content. Also encourage you, listen, if you're watching this on YouTube, we do this, well, almost every single day. All right. And the best thing you can do for us is just give us a subscribe. Give us a like button if you like what we're doing. You may not agree with us, but that's the reason that we put this show on, because we like the dialogue. We like talking about things that might be interesting to you, your family, especially if you live in the state of Florida. Let's get started, though, Anthony. What do you say with today's topics, brother?
Definitely, man.
Let's rock and roll. I'm going to bring them up right now, and we will get going. All right, let me see here. I'm going to start us off with number one. And, come on. Where am I at? You'd think he'd be more prepared. I mean, you'd think like, hey, guys, he'd have him like right here, ready to go. But he didn't. Well, that's probably because topic number one talks about something that I rarely talk about in this show, and that is soccer. All right, tonight, big game, United States against Bosnia. It's going to be going down in Levi's Stadium in California, everybody, and it is a win or go home game for the U.S. Now, here's my deal with soccer that I'll never understand, okay? Why is this even considered to be a match? This should be so far outside of anything that's even plausible for Bosnia to win that we're not even talking about it. But somehow Bosnia, I guess, has some chance. I mean, listen, I'm not saying they're going to win or they're favored, but they do have a chance to beat the United States. But if this happens, it'll be a complete embarrassment for the U.S. I'm not a soccer guy, but I'm good enough and smart enough to look at the numbers. Here they are, everybody. The United States has about 340 million people. How much does Bosnia have? 3.2 million. That's 106 Americans for every one Bosnian. Our country is 186 times larger than Bosnia. We have the largest economy on earth. Bosnia is one of the poorest corners of the earth. Now, here's something that people don't understand, all right? The United States, we have not been a European team since 2021, all right? Let's tell you this. We have not won in a World Cup knockout game since 2002. So it has been a while since the U.S. has been in this spot right here and actually won. There are two things working against us. European team, knockout game. Doesn't look like the United States does extremely well. We are ranked number 16 in the world, and Bosnia is ranked 61st. We're minus 200, let's see here, to win, and minus 650 to advance. Bosnia is a long shot at plus 800. But judging by the history of how the United States plays soccer, listen, I'm not going to put it past Bosnia to go in and wipe the floor with us tonight, and I hope that doesn't happen. You know, I'm not a soccer guy. I don't claim to be a soccer fan. Everybody who watches this show, you know how I feel about soccer in the United States. It is the most bandwagon thing that happens for 2 weeks in the U.S., and then everybody goes back to their normal life of not even caring about soccer anywhere in the country, except for like the couple thousand fans in every little city who follow the MLS. Now, you may disagree with me on this one, but by the way, you know where they're playing this game? Levi's Stadium.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, we did a story about that. We're going to have those, that stadium is going to have the Levi's covered up, and they're going to get a lot of great publicity for that. For those of you who don't know, Levi's was forced to cover their logo because they are not an official FIFA sponsor. And in doing so, they did a great marketing campaign we covered on a previous show where they draped it in a white sheet, and then they used that white logo on their Instagram, went out there and turned what could have been, just basically nothing into something really great for Levi's jeans. So you'll find them at, I think it's named something else now for the FIFA World Cup, but it's Levi's Stadium. And should be a great thing for them right there as well.
Yeah, honestly, I watched, what game was it? I think it was like a couple days ago. It was like Germany versus, I forgot which team it was, but holy crap, that was a good game. Germany lost, but I really wanted Germany to win. But
you're talking Spanish to me right now.
No, it was cool, man. It was like, because it was neck and neck. It was 1-1. It went overtime. They had like, and it was still neck and neck. then they had to do like these penalty kicks, which I didn't even know that was a thing. So it's almost like double overtime. And so then I guess each team, they get like 5 goals they can hit. Like there's like one player versus the goalie.
Like best out of 5 type thing?
Yeah. So it was like Germany missed. Then the other team got 1. Then Germany missed again. And then the other team got 2. And then Germany got 1. Then the other team lost. And it was like so close. Like they tied that one. So then they had to go into sudden death.
Dang.
And then like I guess there's just one kick that like Germany missed. And so then they lost. I was like, damn. But it was close. I was like, damn, that's a good game.
So I guess I've been a big hater for soccer, right? But I have been able to catch a few of the games. I've been out at a few places where the games have been being played, like on TV.
Yeah.
And I got to admit, I find myself watching it. It was kind of cool when the U.S. went 2-0. Then we lose a couple of days ago. I found myself getting into it a little bit. I'm not sitting here saying I don't have any American pride when it comes to soccer. We're a good team that has moved up in the national rankings over the last 20 some odd years. Good for the U.S. My only knock against it is that when people start acting like soccer is a big deal in the United States, it's not. It's 2 weeks out of the year that this stuff is even relevant.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with people loving the U.S. I'm hoping that they win tonight. Of course, I'm pulling for the United States. But history shows us that when it comes to World Cup soccer, this is the time when the U.S. usually bows out. We got a European opponent, and we're in the knockout round. The U.S. traditionally has just not been able to deliver at this time, and I hope tonight is different. But we're going to see. We're going to be playing it tonight. As I said, you're looking at it coming to you at 8 p.m. Eastern, United States and Bosnia, Levi Stadium in California. Win or go home for the United States. Let's hope for a big win. We will not cover it on tomorrow's show. Okay, I want to turn to Florida, everybody. If you're here in Florida, then this is going to mean something to you. If you were not aware, over 100 new laws took effect in Florida today. Now, most of these laws are boring and no one's ever going to talk about them. That's not what we do on this show, okay? I want to talk about 5 new laws that became law today that actually are going to affect your everyday life, or at least if you're in some parts of the state. Number 1, it is no longer going to be called Palm Beach International Airport. If you're flying down south, you better say President Donald Trump International Airport. The change still needs to be signed off by the FAA, but it's looking positive. Number 2, gold and silver coins. They are now legal tender in Florida. That means at certain places, gold and silver coins can be used to pay for debts, not just dollars. Number 3, everyone, this one surprised me. Cursive is back in schools for students grades 3 through 5. They must now learn to write in cursive. And then a weird thing here, Anthony, every public school has to hang a portrait of George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. That's our taxpayer dollars at work. Number 4, marching band now counts as gym class. So now 2 years of marching band can satisfy physical education requirements in Florida. I can already hear the debate now. Is marching band a sport? Is cheerleading a sport? We're just going to have to take the debate to another time. Number 5, a good law, one that I thought was already in effect. Sex offenders are no longer allowed to live within 1,000 feet of a public school. The old rules were a little bit ambiguous. The old rules were a little bit ambiguous. So now it covers schools and parks. There is no gap. It is closed 1,000 feet. A great law right there. So none of these will make national news, but if you live in Florida, those are 5 new laws taking effect today that you're going to want to be aware of. Did any of those jump out to you, Anthony?
Honestly, the couple of them, the cursive one.
Yeah.
I was like, when did they take away cursive? I thought it was always still being taught, but I guess it wasn't.
I'm actually surprised the other way that they're putting it back in.
Oh, really?
Like, when does somebody need to use cursive?
For your signature for your credit cards. That's about it.
Right? That's about it, right?
Yeah.
I guess I'm surprised I would love to have known where that petition came from. Like, who was petitioning to say, we need to take time to learn cursive again?
Mm-hmm.
I don't use cursive ever, period, hard stop, end of story, except to sign my signature on a check, which how many times do you really sign your signature now on a piece of paper? Very rare.
Yeah.
Most of the time you're doing an electronic signature now.
Because I don't know if I could write like a whole paragraph in cursive. I could definitely write my name, but I just don't know if I could do the whole thing. I'm trying to remember like all the different ways to do it.
I mean, would anybody really care if your signature was in print?
Yeah,
like, if you, as long as you kind of scribbled it.
Sometimes I even put like a smiley face if it's like one of those like pads. I'm like, who cares? No one cares. Yeah.
Cursive. So cursive, like two things actually. One, that it was taken out. That does surprise me. But then two, that it's being put back in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just where was that petition? Like, who was out there going, you know what? Kids today in third grade must learn cursive because that's going to be something that's going to be a big part of their life 20 years down the road.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. I think we could spend a lot better things for 3 to 5 years. What is this? Because grades 3 to 5, especially fifth grade. You're about to go into middle school. I think we could learn other things besides cursive. Like, I don't know, maybe how to use a credit card properly. I think there could be everyday things that kids who are in fifth grade could begin to learn more than, how do you do a P and an A and a T together? Like that to me just doesn't seem like the best use of taxpayer dollars. And I'm surprised that this was both taken out and now it's being petitioned. Obviously, somebody came forward, Anthony, and said, cursive is a must for third to fifth graders. And we need to get that back into the curriculum. And I guess that DeSantis agreed with that for some reason. This just probably goes to show you how strong the teachers' lobby is in Tallahassee. For God knows why we're now going to be learning cursive again.
Yeah. Honestly, the one that really shocked me was, but in a good and bad way, it's like the sex offender one.
The number 5, yeah, I agree with you.
Because it's like, it's a good and bad way where it's like, oh, great that we're doing that, but it's like, but in a bad way, like, what? This hasn't been in effect this whole time, or like, that's mind blowing to me. I thought that was a thing. Like, you can't be.
So let me go back, by the way, on this, because I read it wrong. Okay. So I want to go back on this because now that I'm reading it, we are right and we're wrong at the same time. So number 5, sex offenders can no longer live within 1,000 feet of a public pool. The old rules covered schools and parks, but left the gap open for public pools. So now that is closed. Okay. So it wasn't ambiguous to schools and parks. It was ambiguous to public pools.
Okay.
I mean, okay, no brainer.
Yeah.
Listen, sex offenders, just go ahead and put them in one area and just get rid of them out of society. They are the worst that there is within society. There is no place for them in society. These people are not able to be rehabilitated. They are not I don't care. Everything we can do to make those people's lives harder, make it harder. Period. Hard stop. End of story for me.
Mm-hmm.
That one surprises me. Let's close every loophole that can be closed for these sickos.
Yeah.
For me, I don't care what you have to do to make their life more difficult, do it. And for 1,000 public pools, 1,000 feet is nothing. I'd be very interested to know how many feet it is from things like schools and parks. Hopefully it's miles if that's the case. And if that means they can't live within a city, then make it so they can't live within a city. I don't care. Put them out in the middle of nowhere and make them walk a mile to go anywhere. I don't give a crap. So for me, you're right. That one was surprising. Even 1,000 feet of pools, great. Close every loophole you can close for these sickos right there.
Yeah.
Number 4 is interesting though to me. I mean, the fact that marching band, now gym class, it's going to open up the debate. You know it. Yeah. I mean, marching band, is it a sport?
Honestly though,
cheerleading a sport?
What was it? I was doing like a film shoot at like this one school, and like there's like a marching band or whatever, and they're literally outside, literally like for like practice, just like going. Yeah. I was like, damn, that is hard because it was a hot day. So I was like, you know what, I can kind of see it.
My dorm at the University of Florida my freshman year was across from the field. It was Beatty Towers across from the field where the band for the University of Florida would practice. And they'd be there in the afternoons and they'd be doing, let me tell you what, it's 95 degrees out there. They are in formations. They've got 50 pounds, whatever it is, how heavy it is, drums, and they're all decked out. And they're hot as they can. I mean, those things like they're made out of wool, those suits that they wear and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And man, I don't care if you call it a sport, you want to call it an activity. It does not look easy. And you're playing an instrument while you're moving in front of people with a team. Listen, I mean, the more I'm talking about it, Anthony, maybe marching band is a sport. I mean, you want to go by strict definition alone.
I mean, to be fair, they're not calling it a sport. They're calling it physical education. So I guess it's like physical. You know,
would you say it's a sport?
Not a sport, but like definitely physical. I mean, you're out there. You're in the heat. You got all that gear on. That, like you were saying, the drums and all that stuff. That's
an easy, man.
That's physical too. You're out there for a while.
100% agree with you on that one. So shout out to people in the marching band. You're finally getting some recognition right now for that hard work, bro.
I feel like it's almost like it's like saying because they're not calling it a sport, but they're calling it like physical and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think it's the same thing as like roofers go and like doing that, because it's not it's not a sport like tearing down a roof and putting it on, but you're definitely out there. It's physical and stuff like that. You're there, so I can see why they're calling it a physical education now. For
yeah, listen, I'm all about that. I mean, those people who are out there, you're spending an hour in a hot field in Florida and you're marching around, you're doing formations, you're playing an instrument, you've got a leader up there, like a coach telling you what to do. Listen, this is as close as it's getting to being a sport, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's funny you mentioned about the whole athlete things in roofing. One of my favorite clients that I ever had, he ended up selling his business, but it was Eustis Roofing in Central Florida. The owner was Jason Reisman. And Jason had a philosophy, and all my time that I worked with him, he viewed the people who worked on his roofs as athletes. And as he always said, he wanted to treat them like LeBron James. And he said, if you were a great athlete, what do you get? You get taken care of, you get preferential treatment, you get clothes, you get gear, you get treated really well. And his philosophy was always looking at these guys and going, man, they're doing things on top of a roof. They're climbing ladders. They're doing this physical activity that nobody else is capable of doing. And he wanted to treat them like LeBron James, like athletes that they were. And for people who aren't aware of how awesome and great and massive Eustis Roofing was at one time, Jason had taken it to being the largest residential roofer in the state of Florida. And it's because he treated people, Anthony, like they were athletes. And when I read this story, and you just mentioned that right there, I think about that and how beautiful it was. And he sold to private equity, and we can have our debates about that. But for so long there, I got a chance to go out there on top of roofs with these guys and see how they had backpacks and shirts and gear, and they were taken care of. And they were like, they got a chance to feel treated like, hey, man, I matter. I'm really good at what I do right here. That was always very special to me, and it stuck out in a world where oftentimes people who do hard work, labor jobs, blue collar industries, the people doing the work are the ones that are often forgotten about. But what Eustis Roofing had done is make them the focus, make them the people that were like on a pedestal, right? Yeah. And I think that's a really beautiful thing. And when I read this story, I think, all right, cool. You know what? These people have been out there working their butt off. Marching band got a little bit of credit. All right. A little bit of street cred on the marching band right now. And it's about darn time. I think everybody can agree. Those son of a guns have been working their butt off. All right. Finally, Florida, let's give the marching band some love.
Heck yeah, man.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
Let's go to our third case right here. Our third story right here is a case that nobody is actually talking about now. Yesterday, Anthony, as you know, we did the breaking news on the Supreme Court on the birthright citizenship. There was also the transgender athlete rule that came down, but there was another case that the court quietly agreed to take up. No one is talking about. So on June the 30th, the last day of the term, the court agreed to hear two cases and combine them into one. The first one out of Cook County in Illinois and the second out of Connecticut. They are bringing the Second Amendment to the forefront of America. The question in front of the court is going to be a narrow one, but a huge one at the same time. It's whether the Second and 14th Amendments protect your right to own an AR-15 style semi-automatic rifle. And basically, this is what it's going to do. It's going to decide whether the state bans that have been put into place by some states on these weapons are lawful or not. It's going to say whether these things are allowed or not in the United States. Now, as I said, there are already states that are right now have bans in place. I know that I believe it was Connecticut that went into place after the Sandy Hook elementary tragedy that went down. And I think that what we're going to see is we're going to see a really divided country during this time when these preliminary hearings start to take place. It should be seen sometime around September or October of next legislative session. So we should see some kind of ruling in about a year from right now. And I think that what we're going to find is that the court is going to uphold the right for Americans to have AR-15s. I say this based on the fact that we've got a conservative leaning court right now. And also in all court cases, they've decided and leaned with the Second Amendment being absolute. I'm very happy about this. I want this to be put to rest. I am a strong believer that firearms are not the problem, that the people using the firearms are. And I believe that the Second Amendment is absolute. I do not want to see it restricted in any way whatsoever. And I believe that the courts are going to side with us and with other gun owners across the country. I'm very happy they are finally taking this case up and are going to hear arguments on both sides.
I'm in the middle of this where it's like I agree that the people are the problem with whoever gets the gun and stuff like that, but I feel like there has to be stricter regulation for that person to get a gun in America. Like I know, I don't know, it's hard because like if you have a mental thing and all this like illness thing, and you have documentation of this, and that person can still legally get a gun, that doesn't make sense to me as someone. Like as far as like I look at it as like driving, you have a right to drive, but like you can lose that privilege to drive, and I feel like a lot of people should be not have that gun.
So I have no problem with there being restrictions on people that are mentally ill or individuals that have shown a capacity to not hold a firearm responsibly. Now, do I think there's a slippery slope right there, and I want to be very careful on how far I go down that? Absolutely, I do. But I want to be clear about, let's say one thing that always gets brought up. Mm-hmm. We want to know where all the firearms are at. That's what people want. A lot of people say, hey, you know what? I should know who has them and who doesn't have them. That should be something that's in a national registry. Guns should be registered, and that's what we should do. I am the biggest opponent against that. All right. I do not want that. I believe that it is a terrible idea. And I'll tell you why. As soon as you begin to get a national registry, the person who knows is the government. Mm-hmm. And that's who, in my opinion, the Second Amendment was created for. Second Amendment wasn't, in fact, or if it was, it's not what it's used for now. Hunting. It's used because we want to protect ourselves against an overreaching government. And if that overreaching government knows where firearms are, where do you think that government's starting when it comes to confiscating firearms? Where do you think that's going to go when it wants to make a move or do something that people are going to disagree with? It's going to focus in on those individuals. And those individuals run the risk of becoming a target. Anybody who's ever written 1984, you're familiar with kind of how this all goes down. You want to know where everything is at if you're the government. I don't like that. It's why, for me, this right is so absolute and necessary for Americans. And when I look at this and I think to myself, okay, how do we begin to get a control of the gun violence that we have here in America? I think that what we do is we have to change gun culture. You can make that argument right there. I'm going to be on top of that. Okay, we can talk about that. But restricting right now, further restricting the ability for a God-fearing American to get out there and own a gun of their choice is not something that I'm ever going to get behind. The restrictions on this are too broad, and I believe it opens the door for a lot more in the future, and it's a slippery slope. Even if I could get behind this, what comes next, right? Yeah. It never stops there when you give the government an open door. When the government receives that, they're going to take the next open door. Give somebody an inch, they'll take a mile from you. And that's what happens anytime the government gets its claws into something. This Second Amendment is there for a reason. Protect the people from an overreaching government. An overreaching government is one trying to take away the Second Amendment. You've got to understand here, like the circular logic is involved when we're talking about this.
I think personally for me, I think I get what your point with like the not having it be registered, but I think there should be a registry for it, in my opinion, because for example, like let's say there's a shooting that happens and we don't know who that person is, but we have their gun and they killed like a bunch of people. I want to know who that gun belongs to, where that gun came from, all this stuff. And there's a national registry. We will be able to locate who that person was.
Cool.
And I feel like that's something it's a little scary to me as far as like we don't know. And
yeah. So I'm willing to take that. So I understand your perspective. My thought is that the negatives of such a registry far outweigh the positives. Okay. So the people that follow the laws of a registry are the people that you don't need to worry about. The people who are going to register their firearm are the ones who are going to sit there and go, "Oh, look, I'm just going to go. I've got a protection. Okay, I'm registered." The people who are not are the people that are going to be selling guns on a hand-to-hand exchange, right? They're not going to go, "Oh, let me go look at the registry and here's a serial number. I sold it to a guy on the street of Chicago." Excuse me, everybody. Throat scratching. I sold to a guy on the street of Chicago, so let me go register that sale now. They're never going to do that, nor do they have any incentive to. And so when I look at this, sorry.
You're good.
Edit that out if we could. Sorry, everybody. Man, when I drink these things, America, heck yeah. There we go. I think I'm better now. So I think that the people who end up getting hurt are those that are following the law. And that in of itself is what it concerns me.
Yeah, because I don't know, because I feel like I almost look at it as like purchasing a car and stuff like that, where it's like we want to have these documentation and things like that for vehicles, and like there's a VIN number and all that stuff. I feel like there has to be something along those lines of that.
So I guess if you use the car example, I don't want to go to the government and have to register if I sell my truck to my brother. If my brother wants to give me a couple $1,000s for my truck, I don't want the government involved with that purchase. And where people really kind of get mixed up is you always hear about the gun show loophole and all this stuff, okay? Yeah. You can't walk into places in the United States, go to a gun show and just buy a gun and walk out. That's not the way it works. And so when I think about the registry, or I think about that, I want the government as least involved in my life as humanly possible.
Yeah.
And so if there's a transaction between a father and a son where the father says, "Okay, you're 18, here's that rifle, I'm giving it to you, here you go." I don't want to see that father have to go to the government and say, "I've sold my gun for $1 to my son. Son now has that rifle. Government now knows son has rifle, not father." I don't like that. For me, then it becomes this registry of where these are at and where they're not. And the only person that is following the rules are the people that you don't have to worry about. Law-abiding gun owners are not the ones you want to worry about right now. It's the people that would not follow the law. And so that's why it worries me. The government getting intrusive into our lives is never something that I'm going to appreciate and never something that I'm going to support. This is one, like, why do we have the Second Amendment? What is it? What is that whole thing? Why do the Second Amendment is meant to protect the first, like free speech. And you can't have the first without the second.
Yeah.
And we've seen, man, when it comes to the government itself, like how many stories me and you do about the government?
Yeah.
They're morons. Right? Like we're only in Orlando and the stories we do are mind numbing to us sometimes. If we don't think that we have people within the government who just want to feel important or go out there and, maybe take away your rights or want to make sure that they have more power over you, you're crazy. Of course we do. That's not to say there's not good people or not bad people within government, but anything that we can do to limit their power and their involvement in their life, I'm going to support here.
Yeah.
And we can disagree on this one.
Yeah, I think we both agree that there has to be some sort of change with how, like, the mass shootings and things like that. So I think we do have a change. I think it just depends on how we go about it and like the trajectory and like which way is not the right way, because I don't think there's generally a right way, a right or wrong way. I think it's just like which way just benefits people and just makes like a compromise to figuring out like not uh just these bad things that happen, you know?
So there are a few things that, I mean, let's just say, you know, Patrick Carr's in power with the government. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just roll with that. Some things that I would consider doing immediately. Number one, institute drone programs inside of schools. If you've not watched the videos of the drones deployed indoors that attack an assailant, they're incredible. All right.
So how does that work?
So inside of schools, what you would have is it looks kind of like a door that comes out of a wall. All right. When there is an alert that there is a shooter, the drones, multiple drones come out and attack the shooter. You literally, they are remote controlled by a company or the police office. They come out and they're attack drones meant to actually attack. Some of them actually have firearms, or they actually hit and ram the actual assailant.
Oh, dang.
If you've never seen these videos, they're absolutely incredible. So number one, I would do a drone program within my county or state and implement that immediately. Get technology into our schools to help the resource officers. Number two, I know this is debatable, but we need to get firearms in the hands of teachers willing to carry them. I love this. I think it's a step in the right direction, and if precautions are taken the right way, I think it's a very positive thing that will deter crazy students from doing crazy things. And then number three, you need to equip resource officers with everything they need to respond to situations like this. Too often, resource officers are undergunned, being that they may only have a pistol that's available to them and they need a rifle. So we need to make sure that resource officers are equipped. Drones, teachers, and resource officers, you address those, and in my opinion, you address the problems within schools.
I like it. The only one that I have an issue would be number two.
Fun?
Because, okay, yes, let's say there is the teacher that has a gun, but I'm concerned with what if, like, I don't know how all the teachers are. Maybe they're just leave it out somewhere in the like somewhere where it's just unsecured, and so just a random student just grabs it. So it's like, oh, thinks it's a toy or these kids, and it goes off. I'm a little concerned on that part where it's like might not even be that person doing something crazy, but just what if that happens where it's like a student just goes up like, oh, hey, look, and just grabs it, you know?
Yeah, I think that we could definitely go down the what if side there, and there definitely is. My argument would be the what if on the other side, which would be what if a student comes in there and there is no one with a firearm that's there to stop them. And I think that, again, I understand your perspective, and I'm not saying that it couldn't happen, but if we put laws into place that make sure that these teachers understand the importance and the severity of not handling that firearm responsibly, then I believe we stop that. Now, I also understand that drones may not work. This may not work. Resource officers may not work. It all is no guarantee that there's going to be a solve to the problem. But what it does is it helps to deter these things from happening. If you're a crazy kid who's thinking about doing something stupid and you know, and you've been told randomly there are teachers within your school that do have the ability to incapacitate you immediately, you're going to think twice before you decide to do that. Yeah. Because these kids and these people that go out and do these crazy things, they're not stupid. They plan this thing out. They're looking for weak points. They're looking for places where they're vulnerable and they can enter into these places. And so what I want to see is just, and I know we've gotten off topic right here, but I really want to see there be more precautions, not more precautions, more steps taken to prevent the atrocities that we have within this country before we take rights away from citizens. I don't want to see that. I think there are steps to be taken before that time.
Yeah.
So I love that back and forth, Anthony. As always, you give me a great perspective, okay? So I want to talk about this next thing because it affects people right here in our company. It's something that we have had to talk about here in our company. It's childcare, everybody. It's hitting American families harder than ever. A new report that was released just yesterday found that married couples who both work, they spend as much as 14% of their income on childcare. And single parents can spend up to 60%. The most expensive states, Nebraska, California, and New York. Wow. Nearly 2/3 of children 5 and under need some form of childcare because a parent is not at home and is working. 78% of families now spend 10% or more of their income on childcare. Now, let's talk about Florida right now. Around the middle to high end when it comes to cost, Florida ranks 13 for the most expensive for married couples, roughly 8 to 10% of income for married, and 35th for single parents at about 24 to 28% of their income going to childcare right now. We rank 41st out of 51 for working moms. Now, let's bring it down to Orlando, everybody. Here in Orlando, infant-based childcare averages about $11,400 a year, and that's about $891 above the state average. Let me tell you what, that eats about 16 to 18% of the area's typical household income. I had no idea, Anthony. Dang. Now, if you look at that for what the government says, anything over 7% is considered unaffordable. Highest areas in Orlando is Winter Park and Dr. Phillips Infant Care averages $16,000 per year. I'm telling you, a couple here in Orlando is basically at times handing over a second mortgage payment every single year just to actually be able to go to work.
Yeah.
Wow. These numbers are absolutely staggering to me. I don't have children, Anthony. You don't either. But we have people here in our office and employees of mine who have children, and the numbers that they tell me are right in line with what I'm hearing right here. It's just staggering how much money it takes for especially a single parent to be able just to go to work.
I can't even imagine being a single parent. That is just the hardest job I can only fathom, because you're trying to raise a kid, but then you also have to work at the same time, and all the things you work, you have to go straight to taking care of your kid, doing the 8 hours of going to work and all that stuff. It's a hard job. I can't even.
Unbelievable to me. You're absolutely correct. When you look at that, Florida ranks 35th for single parents, about 24 to 28% of their income going to childcare. Wow. And we know the numbers, Anthony. How many of those do you think are single dads of all the single parents that are out there? Less than 10%, right? Far less, less than 5%. I'd say so. So the far majority of these single parents in Florida are single moms spending 24 to 28% of their income on childcare. I have to admit, I mean, I'm sitting here and I feel very ignorant right now, Anthony, because I had no idea that this is how much it's costing families just to be able to work.
Yeah.
It's not like they're sitting there going, this is weekend childcare that they just want to go and have a vacation, so it costs too much for them to vacation. We're talking about what it costs somebody who's a single mom just to be able to go out and make ends meet. All the other expenses they have on top of everything. Now they're having 25%, let's say, of their income going to childcare just so they can get up and go to work.
And also, this is just for, what is this, for one child?
Right. It's an average, so I'm sure it takes into account the average of between 1 and 2 or 3 children. I'm sure it does take that into account. I don't know. But yes, it's families, the way that this was put out there when the report just came out yesterday.
It's crazy.
I'm thinking about this and I'm like, what do we do? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because, on this show, I'm having this dialogue with you in real time, Anthony, is how do we approach solving a situation like this? All right. Now, one of the things that I've done here is instituted a flexible schedule for parents.
Yeah.
And if you're an employer, that's what I would suggest that you do. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. Is it the most profitable thing for a business? No, it's not. I've talked about this before, but it's the right thing to do for your employees. Now, I did not know the numbers until we did this story today, but it makes it even happier for me that we have a flexible schedule for parents in this office, because what it lets me know is we're doing right by them. We're putting money into their pocket so that the money we pay them can go towards the things it should go to: growing their family, paying their mortgage, getting the car, going on vacation, experiences with one another, all the things that we go to work for. You shouldn't go to work just so you can pay so you can go to work. That doesn't seem right. And so what I would do is I would challenge employers. If you have a policy in place where you can allow for a flexible schedule for single parents, or for parents in general, do it. And listen, I don't need some lawyer out there to tell me, oh, it's right or it's wrong. You don't like it, then don't work for my company. You feel like it's special treatment, then you know what? Try to juggle having a child and then do a full-time job and come talk to me if you think that person is getting special treatment. I don't give a crap. All right. I ran this business so I can run it my way, which is take care of people who need to be taken care of. And that means their families. I mean, why don't we just like as entrepreneurs out there, as small business owners, take care of one another? And then you know what? You hire great people, their families grow with you, and they'll take good care of you and they'll take care of your customers. Stop trying to let the government solve this. The government doesn't need to solve anything. Last thing we need is a government to get involved with childcare. That's a surefire way to get things out of control. I mean, we've seen what the government's done with public schools, and it ain't exactly been a home run. But what we do is, as small business owners in the private industry, you set a standard. Okay. I set a standard for my company in saying that, listen, I never want someone to spend this kind of money right here on childcare. I want them to be able to have a flexible schedule so they don't have this kind of money going towards somebody else, allowing them to come to work. Step up, business owners, especially if you're in Orlando. What are you doing?
Couldn't agree more. Honestly, that's
and me and you have talked about. I'm open with my employees. You're right here for me every single day, Anthony. For those of you who are not aware, my company is run right here. This is my desk 90% of the time. All right. And so Anthony gets a front row seat. We talk about this type of stuff. I talk about it with my employees. My employees know that we have a flexible schedule for people that are parents. And you know what? If they don't like it, go work somewhere else. Mm-hmm. Because we're going to take care of people and do right by people. Do I always like it? And do I wish sometimes they were here? And I wish they were here right now. Where are they? No, you're right. I don't like it sometimes. Am I going to change the policy? Not a chance in the world. Take care of one another, folks. When you see numbers like this, if it doesn't upset you as an entrepreneur, you're in the wrong game. Being an entrepreneur, being a business owner is about taking care of the people and serving the people that work with you. If you're a leader, have a servant attitude towards leadership. I serve Anthony here on this show. Anthony helps me. I serve my employees here every day. I serve my customers. If you don't have that kind of attitude, I'm telling you, you're not going to make it. And I get I'm getting worked up right now, Anthony, like I normally don't about these stories because I feel a little emotional. Because like I think about right now, I'm going back to it, bro, like downtown, right? Which Orlando, there's so many people that are working in these small businesses downtown, and they've probably seen hours cut. We've seen businesses close. These are single parents. How are they affording to go out there and apply for jobs? How are they affording childcare right now? Yeah. And when these small businesses that close, it's not just going to be the business owners that pay the price or the surrounding area. It's real families, real kids.
Yeah,
like, come on, man.
The thing you told me about the other day was really eye-opening about like the bartender, and it just makes me sad about like downtown and people just trying to make a living, and just what the policies, the government that we're doing in Orlando. It's just not like all these small businesses in downtown, they're just leaving, and it's affecting not just the owners, but just the employees of that business. And it's heartbreaking.
Yeah. I thought I'm not ready to tell that story quite yet.
I understand. Yeah.
But for those of you who are not aware, I got a chance to sit down with a couple of business owner, actually a business owner at that time for one of the downtown venues earlier this week. And I hadn't told this story to anybody, but just kind of came out about why I started being so hard on people downtown, like the leadership that we have in Orlando. It hit me personally in talking to an individual a few months back. And hearing her story, and she was a bartender, it just emotionally got to me. And it got me fired up about trying to bring light to what is happening in Orlando and try to be a catalyst to solving problems around here. And in good time, I will tell people that story because I get a little bit emotional talking about it. But what I can tell you is if you tune into this show on a regular basis, you know that we are about fixing Central Florida here. And the reason and the method, I should say, that we go about doing that is with one of these things, a mic. and the work that Anthony does behind the scenes to bring new people to the show and bring light to what is happening. And as you drive around in your car, or you sit in your kitchen, or you're out on the back porch, listen to our show, know that we're committed to making the city that we work in better, because it's not easy doing what we do. But because of stories like this, when I see that there are real families out there that are barely getting by, and then they lose their job and thousands upon thousands of dollars that has to go to childcare, we got to do better for people. Mm-hmm. And the way you solve this problem is not with more government, it's with less. And it's with business owners getting control and saying, no, I'm going to take care of people. I'm going to put people over profit. And that is where real change is going to be made in the community. We do it here, and I'm not some multi-billion-dollar company. We do it because it's the right thing to do. Govern your business that way, and I promise you'll be more profitable in the long run. Anything else about that one, brother?
No, I think you hit everything.
Man, okay. Well, let's just change topics here, because these last two that I've got of the day, man, well, let's just have a little bit of fun. All right?
Yeah, man.
So, all right. I came across a survey, okay, Anthony? And the survey was like the top 20 or something like that, most beautiful people, or countries with the most beautiful people, like it ranked them. And I was like, okay, I get it. Okay. But let's take a little fun of this. Let's turn this into America here. And I was like, is there any place that has ranked the attractiveness of people within a city? Well, there was a dating app that decided to do it called Clover. They took to their own users and asked them to rank the attractiveness of people within a city. Now, listen, it's not science, but gosh, I found it to be interesting, okay? Let's take a look. When it comes to attractive women, all right, the attractive women, number 1 was Manhattan, number 2, Santa Monica, number 3, Boston, then Miami, Cleveland, Queens, Tampa, and Philadelphia. All right, so that makes 6 of the top 8 that were over on the East Coast. In Florida land 2 of the top 8 for beautiful women in Miami and Tampa. Now let's talk about the men, bro, because this one is shocking, okay? For the men, the top spot for the most attractive men in America, Jacksonville, Florida, came in number 1 in the country. They said there that women said that men in Jacksonville, Florida are 70% more attractive than the national average. Number 2 was Scottsdale, Virginia Beach, then Boston, and Minneapolis racked out the top 5. So Florida lands 3 cities on the list when it comes to attractive women, and number 1 when it comes to men up there in Jacksonville, Florida. The only thing I can think of right now, Anthony, is there is some guy on a dating app up in Jacksonville is like, you know what? I might be average here, but I'm 70% more attractive than the rest of the country. And this was a very fun list to look at. I have no idea. There's no science behind this at all. But I mean, I guess like the women's list, which is where I'm going to comment, because, well, that's the one that I'm probably going to understand. Okay, I get it. Manhattan ranks number 1, right? Santa Monica, I get it. If you've ever been out to California, beautiful people. Go to a gym in freaking LA, bro. I mean, beautiful people. I mean, on both sides, it's just like everybody cares out there. They look good. Boston surprises me. Never saw Boston coming when it comes to that. Miami I thought Miami would be number 1 or number 2. I'm shocked that Miami is not 1 or 2. I get Manhattan. I get Santa Monica. I would have thought that we're going to have Miami right in there. Cleveland, Queens, that throws me off. Tampa within the top 6, I think, is great. Philadelphia, I can get why people up there are saying that. But this was a fun list to be able to put together right here.
Anthony's hot take. Not a big fan of Miami women. I can say that because I was born in Miami. I'm part Cuban, so it's not my cup of tea. Not my thing.
Anthony, normally I can see where you're coming from, okay? And I try to see both sides. I can't see where you're coming from on this.
I don't know, man. I'll be honest. I don't like that. I don't like that Miami accent. It's just it bothers me. Anthony, not my thing.
Anthony, Miami is the melting pot of beautiful women in this country. I am going to completely disagree with you on this. All right. I mean, just Bad Boys, Will Smith. Like, I mean, I don't know, Miami Vice, all these movies. I mean, just like, it's Miami, bro. It's Miami Beach. It's bikinis. It is everything sexy. It's 11. It is just, I mean, Miami's sexy, man.
Miami in movies is sexy. The real Miami? No, man.
Okay. Now we're getting we're getting a little okay. I get where you're going with this, okay? Now, there are certain parts of Miami maybe that aren't sexy, okay? But I'm talking about overall for women. Listen, if you're going to tell me to rank me, you want me to rank? I'll rank. All right. Here we go. I'll go top 5.
Okay.
I think I can. Let me see on top of my dome right here, all right? Miami's number 1. Miami is number 1.
What?
I'm throwing it out there number 1 right now. If you're going to rank attractiveness, Miami as a city, number 1. I mean, if we're going to go big cities, I mean, I'm going to have to go West Coast and probably go LA, or you could do, what is it? I mean, I'll say LA for right now because I can't think of the name where I was. So I'm going to go LA for right now. I'm going to go Dallas at number 3. Okay. I want to make sure I'm fair about this. This is big, you know. I know. Scottsdale at number 4. Mm-hmm. I want to get here. I mean, could you make the argument? I'm trying to think, can you make the argument like anywhere in the Northeast and I'm going to rank like as for when it comes to attractiveness, and I'm just not. Partly because of weather as well.
Yeah.
I feel like that's playing a factor right now.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, if I'm showing a little bit like I'm getting older right now, but I could throw West Coast Florida in there and go
like Tampa. Maybe?
Tampa, or if you really want to go, like, if I'm almost 40, do I go Naples? I mean, when it comes to how wealthy it is, he's good. Shit. I mean, I'd go. So I go Tampa. I go Tampa, Naples 5, tie for 5. That's where I rank it. That's all I can come up with, man, right now.
I don't know. I kind of think of like Nashville. Like I like that kind of like country girl. Like, kind of.
Well, you might have just beat me on that one. I forgot about Nashville. Okay, I'm gonna redo my list.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Miami.
Okay.
LA. Dallas. Nashville.
Dallas over Nashville.
I'm going Dallas over Nashville, but I love the country flair that you added in there. I'm just going by Dallas, Nashville, and then I'm gonna go. Oh boy, man. Tampa. I'm gonna go Tampa.
Okay.
Tampa. I think it's got, better than Naples. Yeah, so I'm gonna go Tampa in there. There's my top 5. I don't have Manhattan or Boston. It's just too bitterly cold most of the time. I mean, when I think about it, I think about, I don't know, Will Smith, Shake a Tail Feathers, all that kind of song. Like, I mean, it was just Miami, or man, what is it? Bro, one of the sexiest lines in the movies out of Miami. Oh no, we're talking about Miami Vice.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking that.
So there's that scene, I'm talking about the one with Colin Farrell, that one.
Yeah.
And what does he say? I want to make sure I get it right because you probably put the clip in there is what you're gonna freaking do. And he says, he looks at her and he says, "I'm a fiend for mojitos." And she goes, and like, she says, "I know a place." And then they get in like a speedboat and they just start going to Havana, right? And like they're just in a speedboat. It's sexy, sun, all of that. Colin Farrell's got that nice stash going kind of look. He's supposed to be some DEA agent, but he's just fallen for this drug lord. It is so Miami. I mean, hold on. Your favorite video game is based in Miami.
But it hasn't come out yet.
For those who are not,
but also I love GTA 5 and GTA 4. Those are like LA, New York. So you know what?
Okay. All right. I'm sticking to my list.
Again, GTA 6 video game. Again, what I'm saying, the movies for Miami, beautiful women, but not the real. If you lived in Miami, it's not the same.
All right. We're just going to disagree on this. No, I'm just kidding, everybody. Anthony, of course, he does know a lot about that, but you've also got a beautiful fiance. So shout out over there. This man loves his fiance. So I know he's got to be like, hey, I'm not doing no list about this, Patrick.
If I have to say, Long Island, New York.
Okay.
From, so, you know
so Anthony's like, I like the Northeast. Northeast is great. That's so funny, man. Our last story of the day, we got to move off of that one, is another lighthearted one right here. For those of you who are not familiar, with the NBA, LeBron James is actually leaving the Lakers. He's leaving the sports world on a cliffhanger right now about what he is going to do next. And news was announced yesterday. His agent, Rich Paul, told the Lakers LeBron will not play for the Lakers next season, but will play for somebody else for 2026 and 2027. It ends his 8-year run in Los Angeles. It's the longest time he's ever spent with one team. And it kills the thought that he may retire. He's 41 years old, and he's going into a record 24th NBA season. He's the oldest player in the NBA right now. This sparks the question, everyone, and this is what people are asking, not because LeBron is retiring, but because 8 years has come to an end in LA. When he went out there, if you had said that LeBron was going to win one championship out there with what he's had happen in LA and the team he's had around him, would you consider the time there to be a success with what he's accomplished? This is tough because, this is the question I've been asking myself. And I have to say this. It depends on what you're comparing success against. If you're one of the people that believes that LeBron James is the greatest of all time, then you consider the time in LA to be a failure. You can't look at it any other way. And now if you're saying, is it time successful when it comes to longevity in an NBA career, points that he put on the board in order to become the points leader in the NBA, leadership within the NBA, building his own image and brand, all of that stuff, he did a great job of while he was there. I've never seen a player be so wildly and massively popular across the world and have so little controversy surround him. I mean, the man's played in Miami and LA. Yeah. And how many bad stories do you hear about LeBron James? Practically none.
Yeah.
I remember when he moved from Cleveland to Miami, and I thought to myself, I was like, that's the end of LeBron James, because what we just talked about, we know what Miami's known for.
No, it's not.
Case in point. But distractions is what I thought, to be very frank with you. When you put a guy who's young, athletic into Miami, boy, good luck, man, because the distractions are all around you 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And so I thought he was going to fail there. Nope. Then he goes out to LA, extremely focused there. The knock that I'm going to have on the one championship is that it was during the COVID years. And when I saw that, to me, that's not winning a championship when you're not playing in front of crowds. You're not having home team. You're not having travel. You're not having the wear and tear on your legs. Now, I'm not taking away that. I don't think there should be an asterisk next to it. He won the championship with the season that was put in front of him. But if I'm going to look at his career as a whole over 8 years, I'm going to take that into account. And so it depends on how you want to view the years in LA. If you view them from Mount Rushmore of athletes, if you compare against Michael Jordan, then no, it wasn't good. He got knocked out in the first round of the playoffs. He made it to the finals once and was only going to be to win it during a COVID season. That's not the type of record that you want if you want to be looked at as the best of all time. He was surrounded by like Luka and other great players, and he couldn't seem to put together the right combination with his teams, the right leadership as a player to be able to advance and to be able to do more over his 8-year time there. Again, I believe he's the second best player to ever play in the NBA. I believe that. But it depends on how you look at his time in LA about whether you would consider this to be a success or a failure.
I forgot your top one is Michael Jordan, right?
Yes. No. Yeah, I put Michael Jordan number 1. I'd put LeBron number 2. I think you've got to just by the numbers alone, what the man has been able to accomplish. And I'll be honest with you, I also look at this, Anthony, from a perspective of off the court. I can't say that I ignore that. I look at LeBron James off the court, and frankly, I think that the man has shown such an incredible level of maturity throughout his career that I can't sit there and say that doesn't play into how I look at him.
Yeah.
The amount of pressure, criticism, the amount of hype that he's had to live up to, the expectations he's had to meet, he's exceeded all of them. No one thought when he was coming out of high school, this is who he would be. Maybe a Carmelo Anthony type of guy, a good player in the NBA, a great player, but arguably the best of all time, given what that man had to live up to. No, I don't believe anybody thought that. And I think when I look at his career, we will look back and we will realize that we far underestimated how great of a player we were watching in real time. It's like, I wish we knew we were in the good old days when we were in them. I wish we knew how great LeBron was while we were watching him in those Heat years. What a fantastic display of athleticism, of maturity, of basketball knowledge, just the game itself we were watching at that time.
I look at him in almost like a Tom Brady, where it's like,
oh,
I'll be honest, I'm a Miami Dolphins fan, so I don't like Tom Brady because he was for the Patriots and Dolphins, but I got to give the credit where it's due. He's a great player, so you know what, man, I feel like he's like on the same ballpark with like Tom Brady, with like just the greatest of all time.
He is. Tom Brady to me is the greatest of all time, period, across all sports, just because of his ability to win over a long period of time and win consistently. I mean, and with different players, you name it, like he did it all. That guy, it's going to be tough to ever break that record for me. Yeah. But I have a lot of respect for a LeBron James, and that will never leave. And I wish him the best wherever he goes next. It'll be great for whatever city grabs him. I can't imagine if the Magic were to grab him. It's never going to happen, but gosh, if it did.
Do you think he's going to do like a Shaq after he retires and like sponsor like a Papa John's or whatever?
I think I could see him doing some great stuff.
Yeah,
I really do. I see him taking more of the Michael Jordan route and still being involved with the game. But I think the guy's going to have unlimited options available to him. And from everything I've seen, he's got a lot of savvy when it comes to business. I think he'll make great decisions. And he'll probably be great for the NBA after he leaves and stops being a player.
Yep, 100%.
I'll tell you what, everybody, I've got a 10 o'clock meeting, so I've got to get to that right now. We've got to actually run a business around here. We've had some great stories here. Hope you all had some fun with us here on the Patrick Carr Show. We'll be back tomorrow's episode, Thursday. Join us tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, everybody. We'll see you then.